Hello, comeback champions. This is your keynote speaker, Paul Lawrence Vann, and my area of expertise is leadership. And I'm going to be sharing how to upskill your organization through leadership development. Glad that you could be with me, and shout out to Shay Brown and the outstanding organization with Comeback Champions. This is my second year, and I'm looking even more forward to it than I did the first year I started, which was last year. But before we get started, I want to share a little bit about my background and how I arrived at this destination. I myself am a retired United States Air Force military officer. I retired with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel from the U.S. Air Force after 20 years of duty, in addition to 1 year serving for a member of Congress in the U.S. House of Representatives while in uniform. And so I decided to become an entrepreneur after I retired, and that's what I've been doing for the last couple of decades, and it's very rewarding because I get a chance to help people. I myself attended every leadership school the Air Force had to offer, and I believe that leadership is the path for people who want to achieve personal success in life in addition to organizational success in life. And everyone is a leader because we have to lead our lives. And I have written a new book that's titled Leadership is Influence, a three-pronged approach to becoming a leader of influence. And this is what it looks like right here, if you can see it. There you go. All right. So I wrote this book because I know the importance of leadership. We can tell recently by what happened with the Speaker of the House nominations that took place earlier this year. We can tell the problems that we're having. It was so dysfunctional. We can also know through all the strikes that have been happening, the strikes with the United Auto Workers, strikes with Kaiser Permanente, strike with the Screen Actors Guild, strikes with John Deere Tractor. And a strike that was averted was, of course, with UPS, my former employer during college, and they averted that strike because they knew there were millions and billions of dollars on the line, and they did the right thing by not going forward with that strike and taking care of the most valuable aspect of an organization, and it's what? The people, the employees. So without further ado, I want to share my website with you so you can learn more about the book and the different services that I offer. You can go to www.leadershipisinfluencebook.com. One more time, chorus, www.leadershipisinfluencebook.com, and you'll be able to see the book, the Laurel Reef collection. We have 3 books out there, and also the leadership consultancy, leadership coaching, and digital course as well. So without further ado, I'm going to get started on the topic of today again, which is to upskill your organization through leadership development. And I start with organizations because organizations can get more done than an individual, and entrepreneurs and small business owners as well to be considered in that group. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is that business owners provide a platform for their employees to thrive by elevating their competency. So let's talk about the competency. When we think of an organization, we of course have a leader with a title. We have a president, perhaps, CEO. For a nonprofit, we may have an executive director, whatever that title might be, but they're considered the designated leader. And that designated leader has vision, goals, they have expectations and for the mission that they have. And of course, their mission is to have high business performance. And high business performance through high productivity equals what? It equals more revenue, higher profits. So we can share that with the employees and with the shareholders. And so it's very important to look at the platform of which an organization operates. So let's get into some of these titles, because sometimes titles can be a misnomer. Just because a person has a title of a president doesn't mean they do any of the work. So we have managers. Managers, they manage the workflow. Then we have employees. They're the actual people who are on the production side of things. They're the ones, let's say, for example, we want to get 50 widgets out today. Perhaps they will excel in their excellence and they'll be able to get 70 out on a day, but nothing happens without employee, and the management of it doesn't happen without the manager himself or herself and the person with the title, the leader. Now, it's very important to understand that a manager is a leader as well. And you're like, what? The what? Yes, a manager is a leader because they have people working for them. And if done right, if they use their influence, like the leader with the title uses their influence, then they will have a greater impact on the employees. So again, there's another title. There's a leader with the title, the official title. There's a manager leader who manages the workflow. Then there's the employee. And who said that? Yes, the employee is a leader too. And you're like, what are you talking about, Paul? Well, a leader, a person that's hired in their job, the employee, whether it's the first day or the 10th day or the 10th month, is a leader. And they have to be a leader because without them using the characteristics of a leader, they can't get their job done. Like being able to communicate up and down the chain with their colleagues and are their manager leader, talking to the leader with the title, or they're doing the job of the workflow. So they're the ones who actually getting it done. For example, when I worked with UPS, I started out loading trucks, the big 18-wheelers during Christmas time of year. Oh my God, there were so many packages that came through. You couldn't count them all, but it didn't stop you from loading them and ensuring the wrong package did not go to the wrong location. So there are different elements of leadership. So we can take away just the leader with the title being the only leader. They're manager leaders as well as employee leaders. And once they're all synced up, guess what happens? They maximize their capacity. And the more leaders that are developed, if there's an influential leader, what they do is they develop other leaders in the organization. So let's say the president decides, you know, I want to hit the targets this year. I want to get the vision. I want to see that come through fruition. I want to be better than the previous leader with the title. I want to have my manager leaders and my employee leaders go through a leadership development program. I'll just go out on a limb and say, well, Paul would deliver the program for them. I think that's a great idea. What do you think? But what happens is if they have in place a standardized leadership development program, which would go through a leadership development workshop from me, then everyone be getting the same information. They'll be on the same sheet of music, and they will increase their productivity. It would give them a competitive advantage in their industry, in addition to increasing their revenue. And let's say, for example, that the organization goes out and they are doing superb, doing excellent with the revenue generating, then the valuation of the business and organization itself will be of higher value. So if someone decides they want to purchase that organization, which happens every day somewhere, then it would be a higher valuation because there are more people with leadership expertise in their background to get that done. So that's one of the aspects that I'm talking about. So a leader has to provide a platform to be able to elevate the competency of the employees. So how do they go about doing that? Well, one, they give and provide continuous study. You want to continuously look at other leaders from other industries and your own industry at your actual leader with the title where you work. If you're a small business, you can do the same thing. It's easier to be able to see that. And then you want to be able to give that manager leader and employee leader some leadership, even more leadership skills. So maybe instead of the president being responsible for everything, he'll or she would delegate that to the manager leader, giving them more experience and more exposure to the big decisions. And then also bigger, larger projects for the employee leaders, maybe doing some of the work of the manager leader. And so as you see, they're all growing and they're all getting better and they're all getting bigger and they're all becoming more competitive in their industry. And that's really what it's all about. And then the next thing I want to talk about is becoming an expert. And you will give you more latitude in your organization through the leadership excellence. So when I talk about leadership excellence, what I'm talking about is people and organizations that are just very good at what they do. I've received several organizational excellence awards in the United States Air Force, and it's the result of the leader at the top being very influential and inspiring us. The leader with the title had excellent character. You could trust this individual. They would talk with you and they would share with you what their vision is and what their goals are. And you just wanted to buy into it. And then when we look at communication, they're able to communicate really great. If in my case, I had a situation where I had to go home for about over a month, and I sat by the bedside of my mother until she passed away in the hospital. So my leadership showed me empathy, and they allowed me to go and take care of that from the Pentagon. And I spent a whole month with my mother by her bedside before she went home to be with the Lord. And so that's just an example of some of the things. But more importantly, what separates good leaders from great leaders is the quality of the leader. Leaders with good quality, you will be able to tell. And influential leaders, you'll be able to tell too. So let me just share just a few influential leaders you may have heard about. I'm going to start with Rosa Parks, very influential. Nelson Mandela, very influential. Winston Churchill, very influential. Dr. Martin Luther King, very influential. So these are just a few, Mahatma Gandhi, just a few people that are very influential that people would follow them no matter what. We could throw maybe the top influential leader out there, person was Muhammad Ali. Who didn't know Muhammad Ali from any corner of the world? And so he had those leadership chops that just were unparalleled. And the reason why people really like and was in touch with Muhammad, because he was just a man of the people. He was just like them. He had extraordinary talent and communication skills. And so when we start to look at influential leaders, Dr. Maya Angelou, who I really admired, read all of her books, was interviewed by her on Oprah Radio. And I'm telling you, it was a chilling interview, because she told me during the interview, Paul, I've got chills based on what you just said. And the interesting thing was I had chills just being interviewed by her. Now that's a chill interview. And so let's get back to leadership. So you want to be excellent at everything that you do. You dot your I's, you cross your T's, you study what other leaders do, people that you admire, and you emulate their particular leadership style, but you incorporate your very own. You adjust what someone else does and you make them your own. And it's not copying, but it's just the admiration and being willing to learn. For example, a lot of us in the military, we learned about General Colin Powell, you know, a very, very outstanding man, great officer and leader as well. And so we want to be like Colin Powell, not exactly like him. We couldn't be that anyway, but we want to be exceptional where we led people. One of the people that I met in my leadership school, my very first one, Squadron Officer School at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama, was Admiral Grace Hooper. She's actually the person who invented COBOL and computer languages. And she was a guest speaker, and this is what she said, and I want you to listen. I want you to take notes on what my guest speaker leadership expert said. Admiral Grace Hooper. People have managed people for way too long. What people should do is manage resources and lead people. We've done too much managing, but not enough leading of people. Write that down, people. That's a keeper. I've never forgot it. In fact, I wrote it in my book. So let's move on to the third point I want to make, which is to maximize the human potential of your managers and employees to improve the bottom line. Now, again, this goes back to the leader at the top has to be an influential leader. If they are not influential, none of this can happen. So there's a need to have a conversation with them, or call me and I'll have a conversation with the person at the top, the executive director or the president or the chairman of the board, whoever it happens to be. And I would just tell them, if you want to maximize your human potential, you're going to have to give them the competencies that they need to be able to deliver extraordinary leadership, extraordinary deliveries of the products, goods, and services. And the way to do that, again, is to provide leadership development. And you can learn more about my leadership development programs at www.paulvannspeaks.com. One more time, chorus, www.paulvannspeaks.com. paulvannspeaks.com. And you'll be able to see just a host of different courses that I offer within the leadership development workshop that I provide to organizations, small businesses, schools, colleges, and universities, and different organizations in different industries. And for example, it would be something on coaching people to success. So a leader or manager would want to coach their employees. Or it could be the talent. You go out and search for the best talent that you can for your organization. That's very important. And also one-on-one meetings that you have with your employees. That's very important too, how you communicate, how you connect, and how you get things done. And so in essence, this really covers the span of it. So now that I've talked about organization, let's talk about you as an individual. Well, aren't you special? As an individual, you and I still have a life to live. And the fact that we have to live this life is the very reason why leadership is very important. In fact, when it comes to leadership, you would be in the top 1% of all people, let's say just in the United States, if you have great leadership skills. And you would be even better if you were an influential leader, because you'll be able to get things done without really pressing people, but people want to do it for you because they just simply they admire how you lead them. You're not on their back. I'm going to give you an example of a bad leader, which I talk about in the book. Well, he was a colonel in a military service. And in fact, there's an investigation on him right now. And what he did, he was a good leader until he started to scream and yell at his employees in front of their colleagues, which is a no, 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 no. And he did this. And he was almost at the point where he was going to be considered to run a position, be promoted to general officer. Well, that'll never happen because he's been investigated because he created a toxic work environment. So you do not want to be on the wrong side of leadership. And there's influential leadership, and then there's toxic leadership. So you don't want to be in that line. You want to be in the line where you're influencing people for the good of all, for your career and for the people who work for and with you. So it's very important that we do this. But again, I want to just give you a brief synopsis of what I covered. Business owners provide a platform for their employees to strive by elevating their competencies, become an expert and intricate part of your organization through excellence, leadership excellence, and then maximizing the human potential of the manager's employees to improve your bottom line. Now, this is just a light review that I'm providing because as a comeback champion, we can take a small bit of information, but if you want more, you can reach out and contact me. You can do so by email at info@paulvannspeaks.com. Again, chorus, info@paulvannspeaks.com. You can call me toll free at 800-341-6719. Again, if you want to get a copy of my book or you want to buy them in bulk, you can do so at www.leadershipisinfluencebook.com, and you'll be able to get me there. So I provide a leadership bundle, which you can find, and it consists of an autographed copy of this book, a digital leadership course, and 3 months of leadership coaching. And that will really expand your particular expertise as a leader, which is really in high demand nowadays. I speak to college students at universities, and I tell them that if you are able to get the check a block on your resume that you have leadership skills, then you would be a more in-demand employee because corporations and organizations recognize leadership, and that's what they're looking for. So I talk to college students about this to let them know that they'll be a hot commodity if they will upskill their leadership. And so this is going to conclude this session. Again, a real shout out to everyone in the Comeback Nation, Comeback Champion Nation. and letting you all know that here in this new year, that you can be all that you can be. You become an influential leader. Again, my name is Paul Lawrence Vann. My time is up, and I thank you for yours. Go out there and become the best leader that you can be, and I look forward to seeing you do that. Have a great day. And again, you can get a free gift. Just go to my website, www.leadershipisinfluencebook.com, and you'll see free ebook. And that ebook is for a growth mindset, because leadership and having a growth mindset go hand in hand. And this free ebook will really help you and help you to grow and develop into who you were created and purposed to be. Again, have a great day. Paul Lawrence Vann, as a part of the Comeback Champion Nation. Have a great day, and thank you so much.